maybe even more so on day one of the group stages, right? You want to keep things comfortable, not go too far out of the box, just get your toes in the water to see how it goes also outside the game. We talked a lot about nerves and about mental state. If you start off in a comfortable way, and if you start out with a win especially, then you can build on that.
Sets the tone,
it
yeah,
sets the tone,
for sure.
and it definitely helps your mental state a lot.
Okay, so I'm watching the other games. There are currently 18 different. There is not a single duplicate hero right now in the 4 game streams going on right now.
That is crazy.
Which is
actually. We have some
Still none. We got another pick coming out.
That
Oh,
is
look at this.
wild,
Great.
actually.
The VP Undying drafts to me look very, very interesting. Like based on what I know from my experience of playing Dota recently, they don't look at like something I'd expect, which is very interesting. I think
Bounty
VP
Hunter.
they were playing a very different style.
I see first pick Tidehunter. I think, hey,
Shiva.
my voice line might be
Shiva Ravage.
So I have good intel actually on
Okay.
OG, and it seems like they've put a lot of thought into which voice lines they're gonna use, and they've coordinated some
Really?
stuff out. Yeah, I think.
They used to change their wheels for each team that they would play.
No, they genuinely like. Notail has a lot of strategy going into like his voice line usage and when you use it and how you use it and how creative you are, and there was a long conversation about this. So
you're
He's
telling
got
me-
2 coaches. He has the luxury to afford brain space
Precisely,
for that.
precisely.
One of them is focused on that. So
Exactly.
you're telling me Effie's going to sell another 50,000 signatures? Or
Hey, I don't know which one they're gonna go with today, but there was a discussion going on.
All right, well, if an Ursa gets picked against OG, that means that my voice line's going to be in the mix then.
Oh, too bad with the nerfs.
It's still not another duplicate
still
hero.
no
This is
duplicate.
crazy to me.
Yeah, it's like I said, you're gonna see a lot of different styles. I think people have very different approaches to this patch.
Still not. What on earth?
How is
I
that
think-
even possible? Because obviously we have some of the same bans, which is fair. Some heroes are picked that are banned on other games, but none? Like none?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm also
Someone
happy
do
to
the
see
math on that.
Dawnbreaker is in the mix already. Game
Yeah.
1, first TI appearance is going to be on VP.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, there we go. Our first duplicate.
Undying
We got
gets
Undying
cloned.
as
So-
the first duplicate, which is surprising to me as a hero, regardless.
Really?
Like
Monkey King
to
is
have that
banned.
to be the
Oh,
first
I
duplicate.
see, yeah. It's been quite a popular hero in pubs recently. I think generally speaking for the position 5, just strong lane dominant heroes are going to be popular. I think
2 Morphlings.
based on the drafts that I see, EG's is like, they're just picking win rate heroes right now. Like I think both Tiny and Bane have been very, very high win rates, extremely powerful heroes. So based on just like what I know, EG's looks the most standard, which is not surprising to me because I think they would be the team that would have the patch the most figured out.
Is Core Undying a meme, Jenkins, or is it real?
The laning stage is a real problem.
Okay.
You're just sitting there at like 10% HP because your decays are wearing off and you get very sad. But if you're against, Omni Sven was what LGD was picking it against. And so that was, obviously 2 melee strength heroes you could completely crush.
Yeah. And
but-
I mean, I think the really cool thing about Undying as a core is you can level up Tombstone and you can stack up the Ancients. And then with level 3 or 4 Tombstone, you can basically clear any size Ancient stack. You just
Yeah.
go over there, drop it, and
Yeah, you can solo Roche at 20 minutes.
it's crazy.
You get it. You need treads for the attack speed, but you get the Aghanim Shard, and you just punch it, and the zombies keep spawning, and you literally solo Roche. It's pretty nuts. I mean, you can do it on 5. Like you can help solo Roche, but the thing is, like, are you going to get an Ag Shard as a 5 at 20 minutes?
On the
Probably not.
OG game, they picked AA against the Morphling, and then the IGT1 game in the top right, AA is still unbanned, and there's an IO and Morphling on both sides. but-
You have very good vision, sir.
I actually got LASIK 2 months ago.
Really, I have
yeah.
a laptop in front of me, and I can't see the band.
My optometrist will be very happy.
There's something interesting going on in the OG draft too, where if you notice that they have picked AA, Rubik, Legion, and Tide, and one of these 4 heroes is going mid.
Yep.
So it could be the
Yeah.
Topson, either Rubik mid, but very likely the AA mid, which is the Topson special.
You played Core Tide also.
It's core tide,
Yeah.
tide carry. Yeah.
I just assume because there's a Morphling here, and they picked the AA the way they did. I'm thinking it's mid.
Okay.
And it's something that I think he's probably the only person that would do it.
Yeah, Thompson would just say, give me AA, I'll
Yeah.
be fine. Yeah.
So I think that could be something very interesting going on.
Yeah, we will end up narrowing in on Aster versus EG in terms of drafting once the games kick off a little bit. So we do have the single focus in a little bit, don't worry. Otherwise, it will be very hectic to actually try to follow 4 games like this. That's going to be very interesting. But it is crazy to see how many different ideas of Dota all of the teams have that are playing right now. And it took a while to get like a hero double to even show up, which is...
We still only have 2, it's just Morphling Undying so far.
And that feels crazy. Of course, EG and Aster are a little bit behind on the draft, so we might have some more doubles coming out there. Aster coming out from the Chinese region, and it was PSG LGD that really enjoyed playing off-lane Undying for Face Beyond, so I would also be, I would like to see it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if it comes out as a core. They'll end up going with the Lion as well. Can't really go wrong with that. What are you trying to see?
Sorry, I wanted to see what Thompson picked on OG. It looks like...
Great question.
Hey.
I can find
can't
out for
see.
you.
All right.
He picked Tidehunter.
So
Thompson Tide.
It's Thompson
God.
Tide,
Okay.
Saxa, Rubik, Seb, Legion
geez.
Commander.
That is on Stream D, by the
Sumail
way.
Clicks.
Trent and Lyrical will be able to take you through the motions of the Thompson Tide, and hopefully that will be playing out the way OG will want it, because it's gonna be a hit or miss. I feel like that one.
Or you can tune into IGT1. They got a JT Tide.
Yes.
So
I think the story of the Alliance OG game is going to be the Ags Morphling with the Shaker, obviously, versus if the Clinks can get strong enough to basically dominate the game and they use the AA and their 4-man ball to win.
And then we already have our first blood spilled. The first blood of TI-10 spilled on Stream C. Make sure you tune into VP versus Undying by Moxie and Purge, and that is on Stream C. And as I said, we're gonna continue narrowing in on Aster versus EG, and we got ourselves a Bane Mirana combination, so there already some nice kill potential. I feel like when you play an opening game, just stick to simple Dota. Does that sound wrong? I mean, I feel like just cookie cutter.
historically, that's been EG's approach in general, though not necessarily. Although usually they do bad in the group stage. Well, I don't know if that trend has still been continuing as of the most recent DPC, but EG at TI group stage usually kind of struggling.
They didn't have to play group stages in the Singapore major,
Right.
but then for the ANA major, they did make it to upper bracket, but it wasn't with flying colors.
Yeah.
But they, they do well enough to get upper bracket, but not bad enough to go like, I don't know, they just cruising through. I feel like in that sense they're somewhat similar to Vici Gaming. They're just flying under the radar sometimes a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, being IG, being a big brand, people are going to look at them, but...
I know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's Bulba.
Yeah.
He's an overthinker.
Okay.
That's why he wears the hat. It's always the same hat. He won't sell it to me because he only has one. He's an overthinker, and when he's forced to adapt, that's actually where he is the best with his drafts. And the problem is when he has a lot of time to prepare, he's like, oh, Arteezy's going to be Nature's Prophet.
Abed Storm.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, come on, Bulba, take the hat off for God's sakes.
So what you're saying is, if he took the hat off at the Singapore major, they would have probably won?
They would have escorted him out because of the stench, but they might have won. Yeah.
It's okay. For people that might have missed that, EG in that finals up against IG, they were 2 games up, and then they got reversed sweeped by IG. That was a little bit of a painful loss there, and definitely a reason why we all think that Dr. K helping them out.
Yes. Yeah. My girlfriend went to sleep that night. She's like, EG's got this. And then she woke up and I was like, yeah, I hate to break it to you, dear. We didn't win another major.
Arteezy still hasn't won a land.
Yeah.
A Valve land.
All right, I want to narrow in on Stream D if possible, because we got a little bit of a 1v1 going on, and it's OG Alliance. I know Instania really wants to watch this one regardless, and we were all curious to see how this mid-tide will play out.
Yeah, so is there anything that happened later in the draft in Stania that you think made them less likely to pick the core AA?
I am actually not sure. But I noticed they have a Quap 4 on Alliance. And they picked Alina to counter the Tide mid, I guess.
I see. Maybe the swap happened where the AA was going to go mid, but then it's like a Queen of Pain versus AA. That sounds like a really horrible matchup. It's not a morph mid, but the Tide mid, I don't know. I don't feel like Lena does that well against Hyde though. She just right.
I would assume she does well in the lane. The only issue I have with Alliance's position in this game, I think this is a situation that might occur quite a lot during this event, where OG's drafting a very well-rounded draft, and they are going to look to be strong in team fights. They have heroes that are really going to excel there, and Alliance, on the other hand, they're looking to snowball the game more. They're trying to play off of like their individual farm. They need these heroes to get a lot of gold out of the early game, and then use that to win team fights for them. Because, like for example, this Earthshaker, whenever he's going to blink in and Echo Slam, there's going to be a Ravage countering it from Thompson. So OG has a way of nullifying Alliance's teamfight presence. So for that reason, Alliance are going to need to be ahead so they can pick and choose a little bit better from what they want.
And it's an offlane Shaker too. So maybe we're going to see some Aghanims built on here. Oh, of course, it's the Shaker Morph. So he'll probably end up going for a blink just for the team fight, but obviously eventually pick up the eggs.
So how did the timings change? Because I know almost exactly 2 years ago, I think it was MDL Changsha. It was TNC that was always doing the Morph Shaker every single time. But then the allied time on Morph got moved to the level 20 talent instead of level 15.
You need Aghanims now on Morph.
Right. Eggs and 18, I think, is what
to
people...
copy allies.
Right.
Back then it was a talent, right?
Was that the change back then?
Yeah, and that's a camp
I think it was a talent.
There were
so many
two spikes. There was one with the talent, and then obviously one with the scepter also. But all I know is that the timings have changed at least in the past year or so.
You get the it's like a 5-second downtime on the Morph at 18. I know 18 ends. It's a 5-second downtime, which is what people play for. But when you get it pre-18, it's still decent. It's just like
it'll win you a team fight.
Yeah, if Morph is down, like you just don't fight, or you're selective about your fights.
Yeah, and that's not just like a lucky thing that stocks.
I mean, I think the story of Morph Shaker usually is getting there.
In that angle,
it's the same with like this Morph AA.
He's hoping that you're gonna make that mistake.
But now
It's
Shaker is
something
improving
so
to be a
easy, we
very
all do in
strong
their
laning
own
hero.
games, but like when you're on the big
So
stage
I think the
like
heroes
this,
come back
it's something
mainly
a
for
lot of
that
pro
reason.
players
You can get it
want
through
to
the early
skill
game
are
without
used to
struggling
do.
too much.
It's just like the constant idea
In the
of
current
where my
meta.
career is right now and not losing it, 'cause it's very
The
punishing.
cleave,
Not just
I
for
thought was
yourself,
going to
but
be
for
more
your camera,
effective
right? Like,
when I
you're a
first read the
fighter.
patch notes. The
Regen
cleave on
to
the
keep your
Aghanims,
morphling alive.
and I'm wondering
It's
maybe is that more effective for Morphling? Does it even work with the
I
range?
think it works with the range attack actually.
Yeah, it should work.
It should be. I think it's the only ranged cleave mechanic in Dota.
That sounds pretty dope on Morph, actually.
Yeah. I do think also they changed the Shaker Axe, right? It used to make you pretty much immune to stuns while you were jumping around.
Correct, yeah. Now you'll get interrupted.
Yeah. So I think Morph like lost a little bit of unkillability.
You could do it through root as well.
You do it
Yeah.
through, and the cast time, like you used to spend way less time in the air. Now you kind of have to actually move.
Well,
the
they
trajectory.
I'm just
made
saying,
that
I
a
think
little
that
bit
makes
better.
more force. It forces Morph to buy other items before just
Right.
rushing the ads in the way that you could before. So
Diving into the tower. Still no first
How
blood.
is this Tide mid doing, by the way? Can we tell from this distance? Or
He's
I'm looking
third
to
in last
Jenkins.
hits.
19-1 to 23-9. So
Tsunami,
That's
that game
very
is a
good for
different
Tide.
game. I just want to point that out.
No, they're two Tidehunters who are third in last hits right now.
he's right. They're both third, but they're
Okay.
different teams.
Because I also had the same thought.
I was so confused.
We're calibrating the multicast
Yeah.
right
We
now.
have
It's day one jitters.
so many screens.
We're trying to absorb all the information. And yeah, if you're curious at home, if you want a cast, you can go to any of the individual streams.
Yeah.
The goal of this stream is to bounce around between all 4 games if something interesting is happening and just have a casual chat with our boy Insane here.
Just insane.
Just Insane.
Just
He's gonna be here all
Insane,
night.
I see.
I'll be around all day.
You don't plane in the river with creeps.
But this Tidehunter is not doing bad then. Like, obviously, I see Lena at the top of
For the
fast hits.
matchup, he's doing above what I would expect.
Is this caster curse or what? No, he's fine. He's fine. He's got fairy fire. It's not going anywhere.
Do you think I have the power yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you get it immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a long
I
time?
think
It's a
it's just instant. It's like that.
Limp is really performing extremely well in the middle lane here.
You
I'm just
can't
kidding.
force
I don't
You
things
can't
out.
force it. Yeah, it has to be inadvertent. You can't
Yeah.
even be
Yes, yes.
thinking about
It
it.
has to be
see,
just
I see.
pathetic and embarrassing.
He's 10 CS.
So I need to just say something that sounds smart, and then it Dota
Exactly.
will prove me wrong.
Exactly.
100%.
We've come
Yeah.
down to our level.
Well, there's no risk for that.
You
So.
can hit him. There's obviously a lot of value with that. Flat.
And by
So-
the way, at the end of the day. After the draft was done, also for EG Esther, we had Morphling in 3 of the games, and Elder Titan, other than Undying, was the other double. So there were only 3 heroes that were picked in multiple streams, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I also noticed that I think EG is the only team that got Tiny.
Yes,
Yes.
the
and
rest
it was
all
first
banned.
pick of the draft.
Yeah.
I'm curious how that's going to play out.
Monkey King was banned in every draft too. I mean, I hear people complaining about that hero despite the nerfs. Boundless Strike, the crit on it got nerfed a huge amount in the early levels, but still, it's like, I mean, you get levels as a core, I suppose, so it doesn't matter so much.
Well, I wasn't even seeing it necessarily as a core all the time. I was seeing Monkey King support start to make a resurgence recently.
That's
Yeah,
true.
it's,
That's
it's
true.
the
That helps.
flexibility of the hero. Generally speaking, when you're drafting,
But one thing that
having
OG
the
have done
option
is
of
that
being
they're
able to
keeping their
shift things
five
around
high
and keeping your
when you
options
look over
open
at,
gives you
FNG,
more
not done, you're not
alternatives when you get
expecting
deep
much.
into the
No
draft.
tail, AA, very
And you can
slick
react
hero
more to
who
the
wants
enemy
to be
counter
ready to
pick.
combo
Like,
as soon as
for
possible
example,
with
if the enemy team has a last pick
So he's
hero,
not trying to shy
but
away
they
from
have
the
already
next
locked
speed
in 4 of their positions, it's easy to set up the draft in a way where you don't get the perfect pick. But if you have options of running maybe 15 or 20 different heroes as your last pick, then you set yourself up to have more options to make a better choice. And that's where like having flexible heroes like Monkey King that can play position 5, 4, 3, 2, even 1, become really, really high value.
I think my fantasy points are already screwed. Oh, there's First Blood.
First Blood, FNG going down to the tops and Tide, invading.
That's why Undying can't be a core. Like, it's hard to have him be a core because he's just running around at 10% HP somewhere. It's like, oh, there's a free kill. Very
Not
nice.
something you really expect from a Tide Hunter.
So then in the
but,
same
when it's
vein
there,
of
helping able to
the
kill is
flexibility that you
absolutely
mentioned,
natural
saying
plan.
that
Of course,
we
I really
talked
like
about Tiny
knocking
being first pick.
that
Is
is
Tiny
definitely
flexible right now?
because-
'Cause-
Absolutely. I think you can play him on any
Rabid
position
ones,
between
maybe get
4
like
and
kill
1.
if you're lucky to
Okay.
So
that early in the
probably
game.
not a 5.
That
I think
earlier
maybe
points on,
something
like,
might do it,
anchor
but I
smashing,
think
you'd
you
be like, I'd
want
be
to stay
fine
away
with
from
like a
that.
0-4-4 or something.
And again, these heroes that are able to fill multiple roles are going to be useful for these teams. Like even you notice that Fight Hunter first pick from OG, we all expect it to be an
true.
offlaner, but
Yeah.
there is a reality in which No Tail could play it, Hobson could play it, so it goes in all 3 of their lanes, and they're able to pick their matchups the way they want to, and it sets themselves up for success when they do it that way. They just have more options when they get deeper into the draft, whereas the Lions have like these heroes that are almost player locked. We know that Nico Baby's going to play the Morphling, we know that FNG is going to play the Undying, and which was why I was so curious about the Quaff on Handskin, because I wouldn't really expect them to have that kind of flexibility.
Yeah, which is a good sign, you think, going into TI that they are showing this flexibility.
Yeah, I think it's, for me, the way Alliance have been in the past, I think they're very good at drafting and they know their matchups really well, but they have a tendency to get pretty predictable, and they limit themselves in options when they do that. So yeah, seeing a little bit of flex is good.
Yeah, isn't it the end of season 2 DPC? It was always limp DK. Every
Yeah, it
single time.
it was a lot.
It worked.
Like yeah, it worked. I mean, they're winning with it, so it's not like that. That's not an issue. But it does mean that yeah, coming to the big stage, coming to an international LAN, then you're gonna get like everybody knows what you're gonna do, so you're gonna get figured out. At the moment, though, it feels like Alliance is definitely doing a little bit better in terms of net worth. You can see them coming out ahead of the lanes.
Much rather get that cooldown.
But I'm still waiting for that team fight to come out from OG. I feel like they are just biding their time, getting their items, and then they're gonna be having go time. As a traditional OG standard always was. A TI9, it was always minute 12, minute 11. They will dive tier 1 towers to get that fight, force
So
that
that's
fight.
usually when you finish up your first core item on most heroes. That's around the timing that like the first big item comes out. I would say though, based on the items that I'm seeing on OG's heroes and the progression of the game, I think they're very happy with the pacing. I think Alliance wanted to be a little bit more ahead, and they wanted to have Limp maybe like dominate the middle lane a bit harder and use that to snowball their game.
The one thing they do have going for them though is that like the Lina build is like travels rush into BKB usually these days, and so they will have the timing where when OG wants to fight, Lina probably will have BKB just with how well the game is going. And I think whenever there's like a Tide Hunter on one team, it's like, you know, having an early BKB hero, super value. It makes it so like you can't just run at all your tier 1s and take them for free. But with that being said, you have the duel, you have the clinks. Like there are heroes that do BKB piercing things, so it's not the absolute worst.
Do you deal enough damage as a Lina against a Clinks if you just go Travels BKB? Because I'm always seeing like the Crystallis, not necessarily rush, but picked up fairly early on.
I think so. Like the hero naturally, just the attack speed. A Atomic War made me realize this. Like, she can be actually played as a carry. She just, like, the Fiery Soul is just so insane, the amount of attack speed you get out of it. You just throw one damage item on there, and all of a sudden, like, even the BKB damage is often enough.
That used to be 40 seconds.
I was under the impression that Klinks, the hero that we see, that we just saw clear a Big Ancient Stack, I thought Klinks was nerfed to the point where we weren't going to see him do as well as we saw a couple of months ago. But am I wrong in that? Because so far, this Klinks on the side of OG looking pretty strong.
I think it's moved to a later draft pick. So for example, Tiny right now, you're going to notice is just people are going to throw themselves over it, and you can pick it very early.
Yeah.
And I think Klinks was a little bit in that tier before.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I think the hero still farms very fast, and in the right game, he can be very, very powerful. I think, for example, in this game where OG picked it, it looks good. He doesn't really have that many struggles. He can freely run around the map. There isn't this one hero that, like, oh, if he can't see 3 heroes, he's going to be scared. As long as he sees the Earthshaker, there's not really any hero that can set up on him. So the Earthshaker is really the only threat, so most of the map is going to be available to run around on. So I think he's going to have a nice time, and more important than anything, he farms extremely fast. And that's been like his primary, what made him so strong in the first place, and that hasn't changed.
And the supports on Alliance as well, in regards to like why Klinks it's a decent Klinks pick this game. Queen of Pain, Undying. Who's contesting the stacks?
Yeah.
Like, it's free to just farm stacks, so it's one of those things that gets nerfed, and you think like, well, 15% in Dota, I mean, that's a big number for Dota terms. You know, heroes lose like one stat and they become terrible. So, but in a game like this, where it's like there's just no way to contest the stacks, well then why not just farm?
So when you talk about contesting stacks, do you just want to send one hero ideally? Because I would think Undying, oh, Tombstone, that's great. You know, you and your team show up at the enemy jungle, you can take it over.
A few. I mean, problem is there's no setup like ganking hero. There's no, you know, Bane into Mirana combo, something like that. Like, they're really dependent on S4 getting a Blink Dagger to initiate, because that's the only way that they're going to get a stun off on anybody reasonably, or Lina picking up like a Yule Scepter. But the build, like I said, is, you know, travels BKB because it's just the safest thing right now. So it's
I think
tough for them.
I think you can look at it like this. If you look at Alliance's heroes, you're going to notice all 3 of their cores, they want to reach a certain item timing in the game. So, and then you look at OG's draft, and they are also the same. All these heroes want to hit a certain item timing before they want to fight. You want that Klinks BKB, for example. You want Titan to get his first 2 items. You want the Earthshaker Blink. Lina wants her BKB. So both teams, they kind of want to sit back and hit their timings. And the goal is that when we hit our timing, we're going to be stronger than you. And I think in that specific war, I think OG's draft is stronger on their timing. But Alliance have the edge of trying to hit their timing before OG hits theirs. So I think that's why where Jenkins means, like, you're not going to see Alliance really invading until they have their items.
Like right now,
Which
they smoked
right
up,
now.
but
Exactly.
there's already an invasion of OG on the other side. So did their smoke just break?
They did. So Alliance don't want to go on the Tidehunter. Wherever the Tidehunter is, they want to move away from.
Yeah.
And they ran into Topstone, so they immediately
Oh,
knew they
that's
need
not
to
a
get
great
out.
kill either.
If they even
If they even
Oh, the Tumblr's toy.
Yeah, should we explain
All right.
neutral
Yeah, let's
items
talk
to
about
people?
neutral items again, because last TI we had no neutral items and we had no scepters. And you're going to hear those 2 terms a lot because every hero has a different upgrade, which is a scepter.
Shard.
Shard.
Aghanim's Shard.
Aghanim's Shard.
Aghanim's
They
Shard.
already messed it
Aghanim
up.
Shard and then
Aghanim's
Aghanim's
Shard.
Yeah, okay, so...
People knew Aghanim's Scepter.
Correct.
Well, we could save the Aghanim Shards because it's not 20 minutes quite.
Sure.
Correct. But it is 7 minutes. So neutral items
Neutral items.
was a concept introduced into Dota maybe 2 or 3 months after TI9. Very controversial at first, and it has gone through a lot of iterations since then. And at this point, I think most everyone accepts it as a pretty natural part of the game. But when you go into the jungle, you at 7 minutes, you can get a variety of tier 1 neutral items. And these are usually
20-ish.
pretty generic upgrades. Like sometimes it's just a couple of stats. There's a few that like you stand in the river and you get like some bonus regen. The one that you just saw the Ancient Apparition use is called Tumbler's Toy. And it has some stats like, I think, HP?
Mana.
Mana. You get more mana, and then it has an active that it's like a little teeny tiny mini force staff.
And it makes a
Maybe jump.
it makes
Boing.
a boing
And you can
noise.
only use it on yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
stealth.
and it goes on cooldown if you get attacked.
Yeah, for like 3 seconds. Same
Yes.
as Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the slot that you see. You see the Earthshaker's 6 items, then on the...
Oh, the prediction. That was a nice Blink duel. I don't know if it's going well for him though. Oh, big Ravage.
Big Ravage. Was that worth it though? All they killed was a support Queen of Pain. Now they're on the run.
They wanted to win the duel.
Yeah.
Wolfman wants to play.
I mean, when we're talking about
Oh,
drafts,
beautiful, excellent.
okay. That, I mean, that's beautiful. When we're talking about Alliance having sometimes predictable drafts, OG, in a sense, is predictable in the sense that around this time, they will try to force a fight. And it looked like Alliance was very well aware of that, and they just, I mean, they beat them in that fight for sure.
That's
Counterplayed.
that's exactly what you want for your first big Echo Slam on Earthshaker. Mm-hmm. That's what makes you keep picking that hero.
So I think here's an interesting thing about this game too. When Lions use their Echo Slam, now their draft is kind of all on cooldown. If you think about it, it's very hard for them to make plays now, and it's hard for them to team fight. Whereas OG, between AA, Legion Commander, even Clinks' map pressure inherently, and like the way their heroes work, even without the Ravage, they're still strong. These heroes can still pressure the map and they can still apply pressure. And if you look at where the heroes are placed on the minimap, you'll notice a lot of the Alliance heroes are very close to their base.
Yeah.
Whereas the OG heroes are able to spread very thinly and control the map and farm a lot more than Alliance are. So this is just due to how the drafts function, and when Alliance blow their team fight, OG just immediately becomes stronger. So despite losing the team fight technically, they are getting more out of the map for the upcoming minutes where the spells are on cooldown. So it's a really, really smart move that they made here. To take that, like losing fight, but to then gain more as a benefit from that.
Yeah, they're all over Alliance's jungle, even with Ravage being on cooldown right now.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
entire Dire side is basically
And
empty.
here you go, FNG dies to Sumail. So this is like
The
the
dual
benefit of the
victory.
Echo Slam being on cooldown. They know Alliance can't fight back.
Is Shaker gonna have to jump on Rubik every single time?
I don't think it's necessarily the case. It's not like, oh, if Rubik gets fissured, the game is over.
Yeah.
But it's something that you're going to keep in mind for sure. I think just the pressure on S4 just to play this game is a lot. He has a lot of he needs to do a lot for his draft to work. At least until Nico Baby and Limp come online.
I feel like the Clinks is a big target for all of Alliance. Like nobody else on OG really does that much damage. At least Legion Commander, you can get you can get dual damage, but dude, S4 really just likes taking pot shots at the tower mid,
He got it.
and I did.
He may lose his bot tier 2 in exchange, though.
Rough.
Yeah, their whole jungle with it as well.
Up there with Nico.
Yeah, if he's showing like that on Earthshaker, it's like Insania saying nobody has to be afraid. It's that's the hero. Oh, there he goes. He's looking for it.
Duel.
That's a nice jewel. No more shaker.
They get the BKB out from
Not
Limp,
the
but I don't know if
BKB
that's gonna
reveal
be
you
enough.
want
They
as
just
Lena.
gotta fight, take down that
Yeah, that's rough for Alliance.
That's rough for Alliance. This is 18 minutes into the game.
Yep.
You won't fight, and
It's tough
you've got
to-
a high ground hitter in Sumail, so Clinks.
It's a little tough still,
And here's
though.
the cool thing. So Clinks has very long attack range, right? And you notice normally here you wouldn't be able to hit this tower because you don't have vision. But AA has Ice Vortex, which gives you vision on the high ground. So Clinks can stand outside of the tower range and keep attacking it.
I rescind what I said. It's not tough, actually. I didn't realize they had
Casual half HP.
Yeah,
on the
that was
tier 3
that's
tower.
nuts. That's
I
cool.
didn't realize Clinksing outranged just with a Dragon's Lance. I thought he needed a Grove Bow also.
There's quite a few heroes in Drow. It's like that now. Lena, quite
Yeah.
a few actually with Dragonlance. But then you usually don't have the AA giving you vision. It's
Precisely.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they doing a somewhat fake back here?
They took the.
So here, now we have a
didn't-
different situation.
He wants
in
the
this
jewel again. He's gonna go for Limp. He's got the jewel. That's a dead Lena.
oh, this is going to be sick if this works. All right, right in front of the base too, which means they
mean-
can pressure
Yeah.
if they want.
No,
Jenkins,
they
you may
don't
have
want
to
it.
watch the live game.
I think right
you're
now,
slightly
so-
Oh,
delayed.
whoops! I'm looking at the Twitch. Oh, rough.
The situation the game is in now, though, you're gonna have Earthshaker who has Echo Slam ready, while Thompson does not have Ravage. So right now, it's like the roles are reversed. It's Alliance's turn to be on the aggressive, and OG, they want to disturb the aggression that Alliance can bring. They don't want to let them team fight, and that's why you're gonna notice Legion running around and like trying to look for pickoffs and stuff, just to like slow down their pace. Don't let them group up and take that fight while we don't have Ravage. So this kill on Lina basically bought them Ravage back. So they get like their timing again, and now then they again will be the stronger team on the map.
So then that makes that semi-fake back so effective because they've left Alliance's jungle anyway because they don't
Yes.
have Ravage, but them getting that quick pick off.
It
Lina,
allows them to farm out the duration that Ravage is on cooldown.
I see. And Hansken?
No, that was so
One
close.
hit.
It was right at him. It was
Yeah.
like in the invulnerability window, which doesn't exist, but he couldn't get stunned.
So for Alliance, we're waiting for Nico Baby to come online, right? On
I
this
think we're
Morphling?
90 seconds away from an Aghanim Scepter on Morphling.
Okay.
I'm curious what's happening in the EG game though. It looks like there's a big team fight in the mid lane. if we could shift to that.
Can we?
Can we?
is-
Again,
do we
this is
have the-
the
do we have
opening
the power?
stages of the multicast? What are our capabilities as the hosts?
Yeah, that is the question. Let's see if we can check in on others. I mean, if you want to continue watching OG Alliance,
I don't mind watching OG Alliance.
That is always a good plan.
Yeah.
Regardless, the stream is live there too from Stream D. That's the game with actual commentary on Trent from Lyrical, who'll be on the mic there.
Basilius Soul Ring. This man does not want to run out of mana on Earthshaker. He plans on pressing Fissure a lot.
And we will get
There he goes.
we will get to see all of the streams in a second. Just so you're aware that there's 4 games going on. Good luck trying to watch them all at the same time. It's a challenge. But let's narrow in on EG Aster, because it almost feels like that game is a lot more even than we were expecting that to be, because Aster playing with the stand-in for their mid.
Yeah, and I think EG, I mean, they managed to claim the Tiny, right? Which is a hero that we've all thought was going to be very, very strong. So I'm really curious how it actually plays out now in pro games. And if it's going to be as powerful as it has felt in the pub games when you've seen these pro players playing it.
Yeah, so far.
Oh my God, there's a Necro. Wait, I didn't even realize that the Necro.
Yeah, that was the last pick.
That's a Chad
Whoa.
hero. That's a dope hero.
You think it's good right now, or you think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Chad because it's rarely seen?
No, because it's good, bro. Tiny gets dumpstered by Necrophosis.
Really?
Yeah, these I'm gonna have too much HP for you to kill me heroes. You love playing against
You
those.
need that
Necrophosis.
percentage-based damage.
Yeah, it's percentage-based damage, but it also gives you the kill threshold where a hero like Tiny, you just literally don't have enough nukes to kill him in the game. But Necrophosis, you get somebody to 30-40% HP with all of your nukes. He presses sight. You kill somebody. So it's both. It's percentage-based and the kill threshold.
Yeah. So one of the big reasons why Tiny, or in general, all these games are going to be, you're going to notice that Sliver's Edge has become extremely popular, and I think this item is very defining for the way that
Sliver's Edge?
Silver's Edge?
Silver.
Silver Edge.
I called the Titans.
Titan Sliver.
I said
Titan
Silver's
Sliver.
Edge.
I said Titan Silver.
Wait, is it Silver Edge?
Silver Edge.
Silver Edge. Titan Sliver.
There's a lot of slivers and slithers. There's a bunch of that in Dota. I'll tell you. that.
Slytherin Crush.
Anyway,
Absolutely.
the upgraded Shadow Blade.
Correct.
Nice. Yes. Good save.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a very defining item for this meta, and you're going to notice it in a lot of the games. And one of the best heroes at using it is Tiny, and that's why one of the big reasons he's become so popular as a carry. So the build, another one of the very powerful items this patch is Echo Saber, and Tiny utilizes both. So this is like one of the reasons that he's risen to such popularity.
And
outside
remember
of the
when Echo Saber
versatility.
used to build into Silver Edge?
Yep.
I kind of like it this. I think Tiny players like it this way
Yeah.
more because
because
you get the crit. It's like the high
right.
base damage on top of like a guaranteed crit, as well as just the mini crit is very good. The fact that you can have both is dank.
Also, I don't know if they patched it, but there was the change that made it so that tree throw actually procs the Echo Saber, but I don't think they fixed it for tree volley. So I think every single tree in the tree volley still slows with an Echo Saber, but I'm not 100% sure.
They also they buffed the damage on the tree throw, the splash. So
Right.
if you throw it and you hit somebody else, or you hit a range creep in the laning phase or something, I mean it hits really hard. And I think one of the underrated nerfs or buffs to Tiny is the fact that they gave him like a little bit more attack speed. But I remember this one game where Eternal Envy went Craggy Coat on Tiny. Back when that was the thing, it was an item that gave you minus attack speed, but at the benefit of having a bunch of armor. And he was attacking literally once every 26 seconds. I hovered over the thing once every 26 seconds. The guy's insane, but he just wanted to jump in and be tanky. That was his idea. And so a little bit of attack speed on a hero like Tiny scales incredibly well because you're buffing such a slow attack time that you're getting way more you're way more attacks in relative to another hero for that attack speed. So Tiny's, he's nuts right now.
You're saying that, but if you were to remove the team names from both sides, it's a very even game in terms of kills, in terms of net worth. Would you still very much favor the side of the Dire if you remove all the names there? Because I know
So-
you guys are all favoring it just because EG is obviously playing against a team with stand-in.
I think
in
that's
Aster.
part of it, but I think when I look at the two drafts as well, very similar to the OG Alliance game, I feel like one team has just better timings. Like
Okay.
once EG comes online, once this ET is able to run in, because if you think about it, they have no way of dealing with the ET, BKB, Ags, running at Morphling and dropping into 0 armor. And imagine how hard Tiny hits, and then you remove all the armor you have, all the resistance you have against Tiny's physical damage. He's gonna one-shot this Morph. He's gonna like two-shot it later into the game. So I think EG's draft is like very intelligently put together. And even if you would remove the team individual skill of players, I think their draft would win more times than I think the Aster draft would. If you want to like rate it out of 10 just to simplify it, I'd say probably EG wins like 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 games.
Of this,
Yeah.
okay.
I feel like none of us can ever disagree with your draft
No,
analysis.
we
like
cannot.
this.
Actually, I
Great.
think it's
When
9 out
I'm
of
talking
10.
to my teammates, they all
There's
have
no-
opinions. You guys just like, oh wow,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Brilliant.
wow.
that's very interesting. Thank
Very
you.
There he
smart.
goes.
Thank
Yeah.
you for your
He's
insight.
getting.
I can say whatever and get away with it. It's great.
You can, yeah.
I'm sure someone in Twitch chat is like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
But there will always be someone like that,
Yeah.
regardless of what you say.
I know my teammates are mauling at home right now. They're like, Aiden, you're wrong.
Stop giving away our strats.
Yeah. I mean, so far, it feels like EG is indeed just happy, just taking their time, getting their items.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see a big fight in a second, because so far, both teams seem
Okay.
pretty happy on their side of the map.
So does EG have an off-lane Elder Titan? Is that what I'm seeing here?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Otherwise, I would
So
like
okay,
to
we
change
fly
my
on
opinions.
Bane.
Slice,
Yeah.
Ice, ET. Okay, what's he
Saber
building?
Ags.
Echo Saber Ags. Okay, cool.
Which
So
makes
again-
it even more realistic what you were talking about ET getting close to
he can
Morphling.
body in there. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
I think he might even buy the shard later.
What
So
does
we
the
can talk
shard
about
do?
the Aghanim
Yeah?
shards now. Yeah, so it's an upgrade that you get at 20 minutes into the game.
You can buy it at 20
You can buy it
minutes.
at 20 minutes into the game. It costs 1,400 gold. And the Elder Titan one allows him to change places with his spirit when he stomps.
Yep.
So if you think about it, you're going to move in the spirit on top of the Morphling when a teamfight starts, and then you're going to start stomping. And then you're going to be straight on top of him with your aura, which removes all of his armor. So basically, you get a free teleport, which has very long cast range.
Generally, the Aghanim shards like fundamentally change some spell to the point where it's busted. Other than on the heroes that don't get picked, which there's not actually that many of them in Dota right now. I feel like every hero is kind of viable.
Every hero is viable with Shard, specifically?
I think there's a lot more good Ag shards than there are bad ones.
That's
I think so,
fair.
yeah.
I really think that.
Agreed.
They've done a great job with those.
I know.
I think
a
it's
bad
just
one.
the heroes that at 20 minutes are able to
Sniper.
buy them and it's worth the gold.
Yeah.
Those are very popular heroes right now. And I think like when I think about, this is what I meant when I talked about EG being good at figuring out the patch. I feel like all the heroes that they've picked here are heroes that I've seen do very, very well in the patch. And they have very good matchups overall. So like, to me, it's just they know what heroes are strong right now and they know how to put them into drafts that will work.
I see a lot of people going the Ember Aghanim shard now too, and they're
Yeah.
going for like.
That's what Abed did in this game too.
He's rushing Ags and then he's going to buy the shard, or he might have already bought
and,
it.
and
Yeah,
then,
he already
and
has
then
it.
refresher, and you're just. I
Old
see
here.
people don't do like 5x remnants.
Arrow.
They're trying to do the solo road.
Started morphing at least.
Ah, he's fine. That's a cool play to sneak in there like that, though. I like this.
It's pretty funny. He's morphed
Yeah.
up during the sleep, so now he has no damage.
It's gonna take him
kill
forever to
those.
go back down the arrows.
Ooh,
Nice stun by
No
that.
Monet.
no steal. But there's still a fight that does look to be quite
Oh,
good.
the nightmare save. That was dope.
It was beautiful
That was
by Fly.
nice. But EG is still looking like they are in charge of this team fight.
Yeah, so Aster has expended a lot of their cooldowns just to secure the Aegis, and now they just want to get out. And if you notice, I don't think Arteezy has been in this team fight at all. He's had free farm, and now he's going to be able to loop in and clean up
Oh, here it comes.
whoever's out of position.
We got the Arteezy cam. He's too late for the first kill though, but perhaps they can.
He
kill
comes
him.
in for the gold. Perfect carry gameplay.
Perfect.
And here you see the effect of the minus armor on the Morphling.
Oh, he's
Still a bit too early in the game.
dancing with the illusion.
ET's hitting like a truck.
He really is. Artur's got his BKB disassembled. He is hitting hard, dude. What a hero.
That was
man.
without the tree as well.
Yeah.
And now at 20 minutes, Tiny also has an Aghanim shard that is worth talking about, which gives him the tree just no longer has charges. You just
Permanent.
hold it infinitely. So I would assume he's probably going to buy it fairly soon.
So this is the timing that you were expecting EG to have, and from this moment onward, you feel like they should be spiraling ahead.
I think if you look at RTZ's items, every single piece of gold that he gets, like every 2,000 gold, is a very, very hard timing for him. Whereas I think the Morphling is going to need like 5,000-6,000 for each of his timings to come through. So it's just, from my perspective, EG has, the game is like snowballing in their direction and they're already ahead. So it's like double favor for them with where they're at in the game right now.
I might suggest us to swap to a game where there's the first proper high ground defense going on, if
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
okay, because VP and Undying, it looks like this was the most bloody match going on at this time, on the first four opening matches in terms of kill scores. We might be a little on the late side if we do manage to get in there, because there's I mean, I feel like
RTC
VP is
just died on our screen. That's
big.
something. That's pretty big. Yeah, I mean,
That's pretty big.
It's important for Aster in this game to be able to disturb EG's timings as much as possible. I think if EG is allowed to just play this game out with both teams farm, they're getting extremely far ahead.
Also, I feel like killing Tiny at some point, just psychologically, is good because the hero can become literally unkillable. I feel like Morphling is a similar type of hero where if these heroes get far ahead, there comes a point where it feels like you would have to press every single spell on them twice in order to kill them.
I think that's the point of the Necro, though, that you mentioned.
True.
You just need to do it one time because he'll get you to 0.5% on the
That's
timing.
it. There's a GG. OG won game one just now. They won a big team fight. I only saw Ravage hitting a lot of people, and I don't think they didn't even need to push top lane. What?
No Shiva Ravage?
Nah, I don't think so. But that was
It's a really good voice line, though.
But here we go, team fight again. Man, this ET, he just destroys them.
yeah.
I think he's probably going to deal more damage in this game than this Tiny is, honestly.
They don't even need RTZ.
So with that team fight and with EG securing their lead, you wanna pick one of the other ones because VP Undying still going on.
Yeah, the VP Undying one seems to
It seems very back and forth on stream C.
Yeah, we were pushing Dire high ground just like 30 seconds ago, and now this Sven's cleaning
Yeah.
the hell out of everybody.
Can you guys see the VP and the Undying? I feel like this is impressive vision for a bunch, no offense, a bunch of nerds.
Well, I did
Who
also
sit inside and look at computer
I did
screens.
also write it down,
I see,
and
okay.
they actually did it in exactly the same order, so it's the same.
I see, so you're just smart.
I'm just prepared.
Yeah.
You need to buy more wards.
I really wish I could have like a central observer ward over there.
There's cue cards if you want. You can write them down.
I'll just use this thing.
Okay, that's okay.
There's
too.
one there, by the way.
I'm over here.
Stand in.
Yeah, I might load it up soon.
All right, so what's happening in this game? Because we see this Sven absolutely out of control. Generally, when you're looking at net worth, Svens always have to be ahead, right? If they're not ahead, they're basically behind.
Yeah,
fair to say?
I think it's pretty fair to say. I do think, again, in the current path, he's very similar to Tiny. He buys almost the exact same item. You go Echo Saber, you want to go for Silver Edge,
Correct. Thank you.
and BKB. So he has very similar timings to Tiny, and right now those items are just a little bit overtuned. So he doesn't need to be as far ahead as he traditionally needed to be in order to be strong. But of course, it's a hero you expect to be very far ahead, and especially they had a Bounty Hunter draft, and you have both Bounty Hunter, Dark Seer, a lot of ways to enable this Sven to just like roll over the game. I think it's a really, really cool draft, and I think they're the only team that has picked Dawnbreaker so far.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was first pick too.
Yeah, and it's an interesting lane. Dawnbreaker Sven, I do not want to play against that. It's a stun into another stun, into like a hammer being thrown over me, and then I can't move.
They're so tanky too.
And they're running at haste, yeah, and they're very tanky.
Massive, like, great base stats as well as armor.
Yeah, I think this VP draft, the way they have very, very strong timings again. Their team fight is very, very strong. It just looks hard to play against.
I mean, Undying is obviously having some struggles right now because their base is in shambles.
Yeah.
Do they have a decent comeback potential?
They did all of this without Godstrength. Granted, 2 of their heroes were dead,
Yeah.
but I don't think VP is interested in leaving anytime soon.
MMR is just a number.
Pretty good Storm game. Other than the Silencer, there's not much to catch him aside from like, well, other than items like little scepters.
I got a question. Which spirit do you think will be the most picked at this TI? This is also Void Spirit's very first TI.
Yeah, Void is the most picked mid lane hero right now.
Really?
For sure, yeah. It's like the top 3 picked heroes in Dota pubs. pro level pubs.
But there are bans here in Captain's
There are,
Mode.
and also Pango is one of the top picked heroes, and it's not any game, right? And
No, I don't think
even,
it's been picked at all.
I don't even think it got banned in first phase in most of the games, if any, maybe not even second phase. So I mean that happens. Heroes tend to just, they fall off in the month before TI.
So answer the question then.
I think
Void
Everspirit.
Spirit?
I really think
Okay.
Everspirit. I believe this Aghanim Scepter Refresher Ags build it's bullshit. It does an insane amount of damage. You're uncatchable ever. You have 10 remnants. It's nuts.
Ooh, we got Hail Mary here coming. Undying with their final smoke.
Yeah, but Bounty just got a huge power
Oh,
spike.
that's
That
a
is-
double damage.
That would damage room. Okay.
Hold up.
Okay.
Oh, he got Saber Shard on Jug. That doesn't work anymore. It used to be if you Blade Fury, you could get the slow on all of the attacks with the Shard, but now it puts Echo Saber on cooldown.
Ah.
Well,
And now they're on the other side of the map while their Rax is under attack too.
yeah, that's their last Rax. Definitely can't be stacking that one.
He popped dodge strength, but he does not seem to care.
Lesh, that's a good high ground defense hero. It's tough to push into him. Good God. Oh.
I mean, Sven also has a refresher orb.
Okay, that was 2 crits in a row right
I
there.
think, yeah, because even when his God Strength run out, he can refresh and go again.
Yep. And he's got the Swift Flank. Okay.
There we go.
Looks like we got our second victory here, VP and OG so far. The teams with the win under their belts. Strong start.
It's good for VP fans seeing that they're starting off strong. as
Yes.
the online.
There's a
team.
lot of question marks,
There's
right?
a lot of question marks, and so that's good for them.
I mean, I personally think VP, for me at least, if they are able to snowball out of the groups, I think they're actually a pretty strong contender for a deep run in the upper bracket.
Yeah,
but I
we-
do think their team needs to snowball. They need to get this confidence building up, and I think winning the first game for them is going to be extremely important. For me, the wins for VP, even more than the standing in the groups, is going to be how it affects their mental state and how much confidence it gives them.
Especially because they're playing very unique thing. Dawnbreaker Bounty Hunter. Nobody's
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, good sign. Let's,
Let's vote.
I feel like we should vote because I feel like we know what's going to happen in
IGT1.
Aster EG because so far we just saw the graphs, right?
Yeah, we did.
It's looking pretty grim for Aster
It's
at
tough.
this point. So personally,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
prefer IGT1.
Let's go. Let's get in.
All right.
I'm in.
Let's
My
go.
boys.
Well, that wasn't much of a vote. Does anybody even know what I?
I mean, you gave a good justification.
No,
I'm
that's it.
sold.
You
That's
have
all
very
I-
good
It was a
reasoning.
fill.
and
Actually,
I
that's a
agree.
pretty sick team fight. I changed my mind. No, it does seem like Aster is on the run.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, we'll go for T1 and IG because we haven't really seen them other than the draft. After the draft, we haven't really checked in with them just yet. So far, it does look like IG is having quite the lead.
Okay. A lot of dragons and people with wings in this game.
Yes, loads of flying.
A couple of guys flying there. Oh, big Ravage. Oh, they took down the gyro.
I was on the run.
Yeah, this was the IO Gyro opening on the draft, of course.
Right. So Morphling has been considered a counter to the Wisp Gyro because you take over the Gyro and then you flat cannon the Wisp.
Oh,
So he has to run away.
I mean, it's another GG.
Doesn't seem
Good timing, Shiva.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have any games left. All games
That's
at
it,
the
they've all
moment are
ended. Oh,
no.
actually on hold because everybody just finished their first game. Is it surprising that everybody finishes around the same time?
Yes, that was actually very
I
because they
think-
all had very weird.
Yeah.
None of them had the same timings. There was 2 Morphlings. One of them was a Morph Shaker, which lost. That was
Yeah.
Alliance that lost versus OG, and then the Morphling that we saw win was IG's. So
we are learning
Yeah.
that a roughly 25-minute to 30-minute timing is superior
Yes.
in Dota in the first game.
That's
of
what
group
we
stages.
learned right now.
anecdotally speaking,
Yes.
100% win rate.
It's all anecdote in Dota. Ask this guy. It is, right? It's all instinct. There's no
Mostly. There's a
no
lot of
math
instinct.
behind it. It's all chaos. It's all instinct, right?
No.
Okay.
No, of course. A lot of pro players, I think there is math that goes into it, but it becomes instinct. It's
Sure.
so instinctive to you how it
Yeah.
works. You don't really think of it as math anymore. It's just your intuition tells you this is the way to go in a lot of situations. I think people are different. I think some people probably think about it more structurally, and they're like, this is good because it hits at this timing and he hits at this timing. I think others just feel it out a bit more. But for me, I think the big conclusion from all 4 of these games is that if your timing beats the enemy team's timing, then the enemy team is forced to run into you and do bad things, is what I noticed. I think it's like, when it comes to drafting especially, because as a captain, it's very interesting to me. It seems like the teams that did well, like both EG, OG to me, had drafts where I could clearly see that their timing was going to beat the enemy team's timing.
Yeah.
And that sets them up for a much easier early game where they can play passive and let the enemy team come and fight into their wards.
Yeah,
on
it
their side
didn't
of the
feel
map.
like the laning stage on itself on any of the games. Well, obviously IGT1 we didn't really see that too much, but didn't have too much of an impact because it's all about that timing. Once it's there, then you go. Before that, you're just chilling on your side.
That's I was reading an interview. It was the boy Arthur Leon. I'm probably totally butchering it. Does he go by Leon Arthur or Arthur Leon? I don't know. But I was looking.
I think it's Leon. But
Leon. He's popping off on Reddit these days, translating a lot of these Chinese interviews. And I was looking at one with LGD, and they were actually saying that they think a huge reason that they're beating, and especially a lot of the other Chinese teams, is based on essentially picking a timing that they know is stronger, and then just saying, you come at us, and you're not good enough to to break our defense essentially. And they said that they didn't win every game like that, but they take those games when they can, and often you can get those where it's just like they literally said the word turtle. You turtle and go late. That's it.
So during Secret's era of dominance in the online period, this is what it felt like, because we played against them all the time. And it just felt like Secret, they would pick some heroes, they would do whatever in lanes. You could beat them sometimes, they would let you outdraft them in lanes some games, and you could beat them in lanes, it was possible. But then they just set up the wall. There's a puppy on a high ground, you know where he is, you don't see him, but you know he's there.
Yeah.
And then they just wait for you, because they know if you go up that hill, you're going to lose the game. And the map hasn't fundamentally changed that much in that way, so I think like the concept of that way of playing still works pretty effectively for them. And I think a lot of the teams right now have understood that that's the way to do it. And I mean, a year has passed since then, so.
The idea is like essentially that the high ground advantage is so strong because of vision, the mischance, that even though they have a weaker draft at that point, you still can't run up into them, and then they just farm and wait until they have that strong point, and then they go to you, right?
Or like you're so even, like the difference is not big enough to where you can cross the vision gap that they have for the high ground.
Yeah,
sorry if this is getting too complicated.
No, this is
cool.
good.
This
I
is
mean,
cool.
we have nothing else to do anyway. But then, does that mean that why aren't late game carries more common? Why am I not seeing Naga, Anti-Mage, Arc Wardens? If you have that ability to turtle so resiliently.
So that's part of it, right? You're picking heroes like Plinks, for example, because it makes their map small. It forces the enemy team to group up while you're controlling map, so you can out-farm them and get ahead. I think you will see anti-mages, and I think you will see Nagas, but it needs to be in the correct games. It's a lot about matchups and timings. I think like if your timing is too slow, like in the Alliance OG case, where I think the Morphling Shaker is very, very strong, but they just never comes online.
Yeah.
OG went poked high ground at 18 minutes, and it puts Alliance in a very awkward position.
Yeah, it's too late at that point.
Right. So you need to match your timing where it's slightly later than the opponents. I think that's going to be a big skill. Again, it's day one group stage, and this is just the first impression that I'm getting.
And
Right.
it's just the
Teams
first
like-
game also for
Right.
all of the teams, right? So how much are we going to see things change for game number 2? Because we talked about this a little bit. People come in with a plan. If it didn't work game 1, are you going to throw it out the window? No. It's too little to go off of.
I think Astro will definitely ban Tiny in the next game.
Sure, that
don't think
is
they'll let that
fair.
one
I
slip
think
through.
they're also probably have someone watching the other streams like, wait a second, guys, we probably
that's-
shouldn't.
Can they watch the other games?
I mean, coaches are not
they
in the
have a
room, right? So they're watching other
Yeah,
games.
they
But
can.
yeah, so then in between games they debrief and be like, "Yo, I saw
Yeah.
Io Gyro on this other game."
So that's the benefit of the analyst, right?
Yes.
For us, for example, Jabs would be spending most of his time looking at all the other games, while William focuses on Blitz, focuses on our own
Eurogames.
games. So they have like different info to come with.
Yeah,
Okay. So then, yeah, I think
you want to have someone watching.
to debrief.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean, we just saw that not a single hero was duplicated. It took 4 of us
Yeah.
to figure that out. And now game 2, yeah. So I think EG, they're not going to get Tiny again. I think that T1 didn't really show enough on the IO. I think they can.
It's hard to say,
IG
right?
can
We didn't
let
get
IO
to
go.
see the game that much.
Yeah.
Sure, but well, especially because it was against a Morphling, like you said, and Morph is a great answer to Gyrocopter in general. But
That's a weird matchup because I feel like with the strength of Scotty, it's like gone kind of the other way, and the fact that Gyro will like totally outfarm a Morphling, especially with an IO.
So-
that it's like in order to beat that as Morphling, you actually have to. It's not as like easy as it used to be. You know, you have to actually kind of outskill. But we didn't. We didn't.
As a gyrocopter specialist myself, I was forced to practice it after
Yeah,
PI.
sorry.
It was a
Sorry
requirement
for
for my
laughing.
team.
Sorry. For
My team was
That
like,
was your
Aiden,
community service.
It's actually a
you
great
need to
support
play
now.
gyrocopter to gold tier at least, just so we're safe for next TI.
Smart.
And then we
Just
didn't
in case.
qualify. Anyway,
would have
you
worked.
have as gyrocopter, you have the advantage that you can outfarm.
Given the ball and says, all right, now that you're like 8. He dunked.
You switched analogies so much
I
there.
need to
when
cover
they
as
give
many
the goalie
sports.
the ball and they go dunk it on the hockey rink, that's what ends up happening.
I'm trying to cover. I understand there's not a lot of hockey knowledge, right? I'm just like kind of. With
Soccer
the little,
still is.
Oh, he called it football. Don't pander to them. Call it what you call it. He calls it soccer. All right.
I played for
Don't
17
pretend.
years. Can I tell you something?
Yeah,
I think I've said this before on broadcast. When I was in high school, the first game that we played competitively, I was the keeper, and we lost 0-17.
No, you
It
didn't.
felt real good. It felt real good.
No, you got. Did you wait? Did you get subbed out?
No. I blocked more than 17 shots.
Okay,
it's
that's
just that
to
there
be
were
fair.
17
All right.
through. That was
Wow.
the problem. What do you mean did I get subbed out? How would they sub me out? I'm the greatest.
Well, I mean, not if they scored 17. I feel like it
That's
can't
not
get
on me.
much
That's
worse.
on my team. Listen, that's like my team pick and pudge.
That is the most Dota player thing I've ever
Exactly.
heard.
It
Yeah, we
totally
get
is.
scored on 17 times and I'm the goalie, but that's not on me. That was my team.
It was my team.
That's
God
like,
dang it.
look, man, I bought all the wards as support.
Exactly.
One more, yeah, I didn't place them, but like I couldn't because like you guys wouldn't like get it on the map, so it's not
Exactly.
my fault that we had no vision.
You're speaking to a bunch of people that are all agreeing with what you're saying
That,
right now.
that is not good. You should not be agreeing with that, or else you're just one of these 17 scored on goalies.
And think about where I am as well. So we're going to get ready. We're going to actually tell them right now that we are ready in chat, so that way we can get the game underway. But Alliance versus OG. The other thing that we should talk about a little bit with that last game was that it felt like the Lina never really got enabled in the way that you would want. You talked a lot about the idea of like who's going to make these rotations and make moves. And it actually ended up being Thompson that found a kill in the jungle, which I think was our first blood at like 5 minutes or whatever into it. In the end, Limp only had 1 kill on the Lina. He was like 1-5 and something else. Laguna Blades, I don't think ever killed somebody. Like, it was a rough game for that Lina. And that was the last pick. That was everything that you put into it.
Not to go off topic here, but